Hello everybody, it's the Gamechamp here, and welcome to another KSP video. This is a little bit of a follow-up on my previous KSP video, where I tried to recreate the Falcon-9, or like a SpaceX-ish design together with a challenge. So I was wondering if I could actually make the exact same version as the Falcon-9. There's a few changes, of course, considering this is indeed KSP. So this is the rocket I came up with. It's got a simple first stage with two engines at the bottom. Then we have four fuel tanks separated in the middle by a reaction wheel, and then we just have some air brakes, and on top of that lays a second stage with a small satellite attached to it, which will boost itself into an orbit, and then it will decouple from the satellite, and the satellite will put itself in a suitable orbit. So here we go. We have launched the missile, and I mean the rocket, and we are well on our way to orbit. We're going to boost up with this first stage until we reach around 2000, maybe a little bit less, a little bit more delta V left in the tank, because that's the appropriate amount that we will need to put it back on the ground. So once we've reached our desired delta V left, we shall cut the engine power. We will just make sure that we're not drifting anywhere, and then we shall deploy into our second stage while we have the small little booster bringing us up further into an orbit. Because as you can see, the actual first stage will not make it into an orbit. We will come back to it in a bit once we have put the satellite into a stable orbit. We will go back to the first stage, we'll land the first stage, and then we will put the satellite into the orbit that we want it to be in. Which I have decided to be a 400 kilometer orbit. So here we go, we're still putting the satellite into a stable orbit. This is not an efficient burn at all. You probably want to wait until you hit apoapsis before doing this maneuver. I, however, do not have the time to do that. I need to get this thing into orbit as soon as I can, so I can return to the first stage and actually land the first stage. Because otherwise, the first stage will just plop back into the ground. Don't want that to happen, obviously. So here we go. We have exhausted the second stage. I would love to be able to actually orbit with that second stage, but as of now, the second stage doesn't really have enough delta V in it. I'm probably able to carry a bigger second stage with me, but this was more of like a small little test project than anything else. So we now switch back to the Falcon-9. For some weird as reason, KSP always, when I switch back, it always puts me into the second stage while I want to be in the first stage. So here we go, we got control of the first stage. First thing we're going to do is make our horizontal speed virtually zero, so we are not going to land over in the ocean. Right here, I think I overdid it slightly. You'll see it in a bit. We'll actually not land at KSC. For some reason, I really have a hard time landing back at KSC. Well, there we go. We have lit our engines, and we are dropping that horizontal speed. Fairly happy with that. All we gotta do now is watch as it falls back towards the atmosphere. I will do a small burn in the atmosphere itself, so we do not get too much atmospheric heat built up, especially with these air brakes and these very fragile landing gears, and I have some solar panels on there. I really do not want them to break off. So we're going to do a small burn. We're not going that fast anyway, so I think even without this burn would have probably been fine. As you can see, we spent about 600-ish, 700-ish delta V just to slow us down enough, just to get rid of that atmospheric heat. So now the landing gear have been deployed. We're all ready and set up to land. Now these air brakes will do the rest for us pretty much. They will bring us down to, I think, about 100 to 150 delta V at landing. I mean not delta V, I mean velocity at landing. So we'll be coming in quite slowly. We still have 1,000 delta V left in our tanks, which is quite a lot. So I could probably theoretically boost up a bigger second stage if I wanted to. So here we go. I was looking for a shadow, couldn't see one, so it's all down to intuition at this point. So we start slowing us down even more using the rockets. We get ourselves into, I think it was a stable 10-ish meters per second. Just really slowly decreasing altitude, and once we're about to hit, just give that a little oomph, and there we go. At this point I was absolutely terrified that I would tip over, because this thing really needs a really flat patch of land. But no worries, we managed to land it just up onto the landing gears, and that's ready to be refueled and reused. So now on to the satellite again. So here in the satellite, we've set up some maneuvers to put ourselves into a 400-kilometer orbit. So that's what we're gonna do now. Just 2 small burns, one at periapsis, one at apoapsis, and we will be set to relay information or do science or whatever we would like to do in space. So yeah, I would like to thank you guys for watching. If you like my content, please hit that subscribe button, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.